All right, rough night for Tom Brady. There's no other way to skin this cat. 0 for 5 on downfield throws of 20 yards or more. He missed Mike Evans on what? I mean, I could sit here and say an easy touchdown. I know nothing's easy in the NFL. I get that. But and he was also turning the wrong way. But was he turning the wrong way because Brady put it to the wrong shoulder? It didn't look like a great throw. He's screaming at his offense. Screaming. I mean, like a madman. Just, eviscerating them. And if they did deserve it, that's cool. It's a big boy sport. Get on him. He's got the equity. But you kind of might want to know what down it is when you light up your teammates like that. He kind of looks a little foolish. You had a big gaffe.
Yeah,
big gaffe.
He did.
He didn't know.
I know he's upset about it.
He should be.
Look, because he usually is very aware of this. But this is the difference between playing with any other team in the NFL. Probably not any other team, but most other teams in the NFL. And the New England Patriots, who practice and go through situational football more than anybody in football. And so when you're in a last-minute drive, you have a minute and 17 seconds to go 75 yards if you're going to score a touchdown, or even just less than that, obviously, if you want to kick a field goal, because that's all they needed, is someone in your ear telling you exactly the circumstances. You got a second down, you got one timeout, this pass has got to be inbounds or out of bounds, doesn't matter. The circumstance. He probably didn't get that from Byron Leftwich. And I found it very telling when Bruce Arians, who does not pull punches at all for anything, including including criticizing his quarterback, as we saw in Week 1 in their Week 1 loss when he threw 2 interceptions, including one that was a pick six. He said at the end of the game, this was coaching. This was bad coaching.
Yes.
And I think what he's talking about is that they weren't aware enough to tell their quarterback. They assumed that he would just know. But it doesn't matter if you're the greatest player of all time. If you project as the greatest and you get all the credit, there's always people behind you. And for most of Tom Brady's career, that's been Josh McDaniels and Bill Belichick dialing in on the details of every circumstance. It's why they always seem to come out on top of them in New England, and why a lot of other teams simply don't.
I understand that, organizations, some elevate, some don't really add positively or negatively, and others kind of drag down players. I get that. So when you talk about sequence and down and distance and, just a real systematic, a finely tuned approach to getting plays in, everybody's on the same page. I got you on that, but I'm pretty sure Achilles, think about the worst quarterbacks we've ever seen in the NFL. Jamarcus Russell, Achilles Smith. You don't forget what down it is. But no, that's not easy. No, it's not easy. So then why has it never happened before? When was the last time a quarterback forgot what down it was?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Because you've never seen it.
That's not true.
In the NFL?
You have seen it in the
I've never seen it.
League. You've seen it a lot, actually.
In the NFL?
It never happens to Tom Brady.
I've never seen it happen to anybody.
Because it's Tom Brady on a Thursday night standalone game. We're making a big deal.
It is a big deal. It's a big deal.
Of course it's a big deal. Because it lost him the game in people's minds, in the layman's mind. But the reality is this game had no business being close. The Bears were doing literally nothing. It was 13-0 at the beginning of this game.
Yeah.
And it felt like the Buccaneers were going to run away from them. And the only reason they weren't was because of how effective the Chicago Bears defense was. I mean, they had 3 sacks and 8 hits. And the pressures were, it was astronomical how many times Tom Brady felt uncomfortable in the pocket. The reality is that they got lucky. Right before halftime, they got what looked like it was a targeting penalty, a defenseless receiver penalty on their running back. It turned out to be a fumble, which gave them a chance to take the lead.
I still don't think that was a fumble.
I don't either.
Because the ball moved. He got 2 steps in.
But he never had it.
Exactly.
He never had it.
I agree with that. I'm with you on that.
There was never a tuckage of the football.
No tuckage.
It was always moving. He caught it. It was turned sideways.
Yes.
And it kind of started to get back into his hands, and he got drilled, and he dropped. I didn't think that was a fumble. I thought that was a horrendous call.
Agreed.
Horrendous turnover, too, by the way. So they looked at this thing because it was originally ruled incomplete. But That,
but I thought they were conferring to see if it's going to be as you said, the targeting. Then all of a sudden it's a fumble. Fumble.
I didn't understand.
I didn't think it was a fumble.
And even I don't forget who Fox's video replay official is.
Was Pereira in the booth last night?
It might be Pereira. But Pereira even said, "Yeah, that looks like that's an incomplete pass."
He did say, "I remember what he said."
And then they came right back. It's a fumble. He had control of the ball. No, he didn't have control of the ball.
I was stunned.
But my point, that changed momentum because all of a sudden the Buccaneers go from being in complete control over this game, both offensively and defensively, to having a deficit at halftime.
No doubt.
And then you throw in all of the penalties. I mean, God, they look so undisciplined. Wasn't there a third and 34? It was
third and at least 3rd and 27. It may have been 34.
Whatever it was just like, really?
Yeah, I know.
You're not used to seeing that from a disciplined squad that Tom Brady leads. And so the reality is the team is not disciplined. So when you were talking about him screaming at his offensive lineman, this is why he was screaming at his offensive lineman.
I got no problem with that.
I don't either.
That's cool.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
Dude, you guys get your heads out your butts.
Let's
man.
go. We're here to win.
We can't have false starts and put ourselves in 2nd and 15 as many times as they did. With that being said, we all know BT football comes down to making plays in critical moments.
Yeah.
And every game can't be a blowout. Even the games you're supposed to win. Tom Brady should have made the right call. He's not used to not having all the information, and I think to me that's what it came down to. When I hear Bruce Arians say, this was bad coaching, he wouldn't have said that unless he was specifically saying that.
All right, I don't want to. I got you. And I want to get to some Bears love here, by the way. So I don't want to get wrapped up and belabor the 4th down, too much here. But we do see it a little differently. Everything else, I'm with you. I mean, even if the communication's not coming in, Tom, look at a scoreboard in the stadium. Generally says 4th down. I can't. I'm not saying you're giving him a pass, but I can't give him a pass at all. That was just an absence of awareness, and we all go through that at some point. Rough night for Tom Brady. As Tiki said, he got popped a lot. He was hit on 43% of his dropbacks.
Wow, that's a lot.
43% of his dropbacks. Khalil Mack was like 17 or 18% of his he got to him. Quinn was a beast. So, and by the way, there's a lot going. This Bears team, I know it's probably easy to say, well, whatever. They probably shouldn't have won, or they got a little lucky with that call that we just discussed. I want you to realize one thing. The Bears have played the Bucs and the Colts. Two teams, when they played them, were averaging 30 points per game. Both games, the Bears held those teams averaging 30 points or more to 19. So, now the converse there is that the Bears so far have 0 points in the third quarter through 5 games this season.
Yeah, that's right.
So there's offensive inconsistencies, but there's defensive pluses for sure. But here's what you can't deny. They're 4-1 for the first time since 2012, by the way.
Yep.
They beat Tom Brady for the first time ever. And they've got to look to him in an NFC that is maybe not as good as we thought it might be. The Bears, Chicago. You got a season.
5 games in, you're 4-1.
Yeah.
How are you not excited about this? Now, are they a danger in the postseason? I can't say that yet.
Yeah,
but
I'm with you.
Defensively, they're damn good, man.
Yeah,
They get after the quarterback. They have aggressive Roquan Smith. They have good linebackers who play sideline to sideline. They make plays. They hit hard. They're disciplined. This defense is where it needs to be. Offensively, they feel. I don't know, and again, maybe this is just Nick Foles' limitations. I'm not saying he's, nobody's ever said he's an elite quarterback, but he is a very good leader in critical situations. He doesn't make a ton of mistakes when it matters. He does ultimately, but when it matters, he seems to always come through with the play, as we saw at the end of this game and previous games over the course of his career. So, do I believe in the Bears? Slightly. But it's only because I think that their offense will start executing a little bit better. Allen Robinson starts getting more and more of those more and more big plays.
Feed him.
Right? Feed him. Why not, dude? He's big. He's athletic. He's talented. He's playing for a contract.
Yeah.
So he's got extra motivation. Why not feed the dude? So if their offense just comes a little bit closer to where their defense is, yeah, the Chicago Bears could be pretty good.
Robinson's had, 3 straight games with 90 yards?
Yeah.
And just to back up the statement I made before about the NFC maybe not being as potent as we all thought coming in, first of all, Dallas's defense is an absolute disaster. We know it's the worst we've ever seen.
It's atrocious.
It's horrendous, right? Yeah. The Eagles are still a mess. So nobody, although I do think Dallas can maybe correct course a little bit starting this week against your Giants, but they are miles away from being thrown into the meaningful part of the discussion. So the NFC East is still a mess. The Green Bay Packers are terrific. We know that. They're scoring points. They're stopping people. That's one legitimate team. People thought the Vikings would be good. Vikings aren't good. They're a mess. The Bucs are not as good as some people. You and I did not pick them to win this division. We picked them to be a playoff team. So we're not stunned if they're 3-2, but they're not going to go 13-3 or 14-2 like some people thought.
Work in progress.
Work in progress. Well said. New Orleans, they got some issues. Seattle's defense is a mess. The Rams are better than we thought. The Niners are just about cooked. So you want to tell me, like, if I'm a Bears fan today, like, I almost wish it was the NBA or baseball, because if I'm a Bear, not that they can't make a trade, but if I'm a Bears fan, I'm sitting there saying, they just get me one unhappy weapon. Bring in Antonio Brown.
Yeah, we're a third score away, man.
Go for it.
Right?
Go for it. All right, T, do this for me. I'm going to give this to you first. I'll give you my answer. So they've played 5 games. We're past 25% of the season. They've got 4 wins.
Yep.
Just documented some of these surrounding issues in the NFC. At this point, at this juncture, what would be a disappointing, provided there's no COVID interruptions, what would be a disappointing win total for the Bears? They have 4. We know who they are defensively. We know what they lack offensively. Give me a number that should be the minimal target right now based on where they are.
They should win at least 9. I see them winning 10.
I think 9 is short.
Yeah,
I think 9 is short.
I see them winning 10. So they have the Panthers, which is a winnable game. The Panthers play very tough. But the Panthers are a winnable game. Saints or the Rams, I should say, and the Saints, the Titans, the Vikings, again, winnable. Lions, Texans, who are, I don't know what's going to happen with them. They're one of the more interesting teams. If they implode or if they get better because they fired their coach, who knows? Vikings, Jaguars, Packers to finish out. So I see 9. But I think 10 is the top end, and for me, 9 and 8 is the low end.
8 and 8 would be I want to say a colossal collapse because of the offense.
It would be disappointing.
I think 8 and 8 would be, well, maybe it would be a I think it would be gravely disappointing. Like 8 and 8, you're 4 and 1, you go 8 and 8. No, we can't have that. 9 and 7 is a great starting point. 11 is too ambitious given the schedule. My number's 10. This team's supposed to win 10 games now. Let's see if they can do it. Let's see if they can do it.
We'll see.
Our
offense has got to get better.
Yeah, you mean the offense?
Offense has got to get better.
I don't disagree with that. The offense has to show a little bit more. To be fair, again, you said it. Nick Foles has never been a star. He'll never be a star. But who was getting the majority of the reps in what was a condensed summer anyway? Trubisky. Who played the first couple of games? Trubisky. He's still shaking a little bit of rust there,
Yeah, you're right. And that's why I think the expectation jumps a little bit from what nobody had faith in Mitch Trubisky.
No.
Even though they were 3-0. Actually 2-0, and then 2.5-0. I should say.
Yeah.
Nobody actually believed it. It was kind of like, all right, I don't know how you're doing this. You're a magician. You got the prestige going on right now. I don't know what's happening here, but this is. It feels different with Nick Foles because of what he's done. You know what I mean? It's like he's won a Super Bowl. He has this calmness about him. If you've ever had conversations with him, he's so easy and chill and confident and direct in what he's trying to do.
He's Big Nick. Why wouldn't he be in control?
That's exactly right.
Why wouldn't he be calm?
All puns included, right?
Why wouldn't he be happy?
That's him. And so it just feels like the expectation rises because of who their quarterback is as opposed to who it was.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell to be notified when we drop fresh content.